This is no ordinary moment, chosen one. Today isn't just another date on your calendar. It is a spiritual deadline, a divine timestamp, and the line between delay and destiny. Kindly avoid browsing. It is not just a matter of urgency that there are only 10 seconds left. Heaven's alarm is sounding over your life. Archangel Michael is currently situated in an invisible area. Not in obscurity or at a distance, but under control. He also has possession of an item that has never been released in this manner before. A check worth $1 trillion. Pay close attention. It's already engraved with your name. It wasn't signed by you yesterday. You failed to complete it last week. Your obedience resulted in a signature. It was inscribed with your tears. I signed it in response to your silent prayers at 2 a.m. Your name was mentioned in that sacred document before you were even aware of it, as you fought through numerous battles without giving up. The spirit is now reduced to mere seconds. It is not solely for financial gain. The goal is to provide for you, heal you, open doors for you, and supernaturally remove the obstacles that have slowed your progress. God is giving you this check as compensation for your participation in the conflict. It denotes an excess of water after a drought. It requires accelerating the process after years of gradual progress. However, what follows is a startling reality. If not claimed in faith and alignment by 9 p.m., it will be returned to the heavenly treasury. Indeed, there are treasuries in heaven. However, this is not due to God's withholding, but rather because many people fail to obtain them. If the wait is too long, the door will close. Activation is hampered by delay. You are unable to move because of fear. Archangel Michael is not pursuing your adversaries tonight. He's ensuring your freedom. Are you experiencing this transformation? You've been feeling unusually tense lately. Much more advantageous is a sense of urgency that cannot be discussed. There is no reason for concern. Divine timing opposes delays on earth. You were informed ahead of time that an action was imminent as a result of your selection as the respondent. Give your life a thorough examination. Have you seen any unusual signs recently? Numbers that continue to accumulate? Random confirmations? And what about financial matters? Innovations? Chances or inheritances? These are not random events. These are spiritual indications. Today is characterized by prophetic qualities. The number 2 represents the witness. The number 1 symbolizes the beginning. They become eyewitnesses to the beginning at 2:21. Today marks the beginning of the overflow. However, the adversary is aware of this. This is why there have been more distractions this week than usual. This is why fatigue tried to claim you. This is why self-doubt claimed that nothing was changing. It was an attempt to persuade you to skip your opportunity. However, you are still here. There is significance to this. Archangel Michael does not simply relocate. His responsibilities include standing as a warrior over covenant promises, carrying out divine orders, and protecting destiny. It implies that God was content to hold an item bearing your name. The check represents giving and receiving, including the exchange of money, favors, power, and opportunities. However, the operation of heaven is dependent on the response. It is critical that you reclaim what is rightfully yours. Begging is not equivalent to claiming. It implies that you agree. It implies that your words should be consistent with the content already recorded in the Spirit. It implies that you should not allow your previous mistakes to keep you from being eligible. Pay close attention. There was a delay in marking your name. Delay, not refusal. Additionally, the deadline has passed. The clock is now in your favor, not against you. The time that has sapped your energy is about to provide you with something beneficial. However, this emphasizes the necessity once more. The cycle ends at 9 p.m. The issue is not one of fear. This refers to the act of proceeding with faith. Archangel Michael is warning you that the time has come to be brave, speak up, and advance internally before any external changes take place. Be straightforward with yourself. Are you prepared for an event that will exceed your expectations? Because a large number of people pray for an abundance of things. However, when the quantity becomes too large, they retreat. They are uncertain about it. They disrupt it. Some people say, "This is excessive for me." You are currently being privately tested, secretly strengthened, and quietly prepared. The upcoming public event is not the result of chance. This is the final outcome. The following is the most important fact. The $1 trillion miracle check is worth something. Heaven is the only entity that understands the worth of you, in addition to the statements made by your bank account and the opinions of others. People don't place enough value on you, but God does. Heaven says that a check is required. Although you are entitled to compensation, consent is required in order to activate your services. So at this point, take a deep breath. Concentrate on. Do not let yourself be sidetracked. This is not a random piece of content. This is an interruption by God. Today is the day you wake up. Archangel Michael is not requesting that you seek the blessing. He urges you to rise and accept it confidently. Your subsequent statement is critical. Your subsequent reflections are critical. The subsequent decision you make before 9 p.m. It is critical because tonight, something will change. It is not a coincidence that you are viewing this. Beloved warrior of destiny, the information you are about to receive will fundamentally shift your current perspective on everything. The $1 trillion check isn't written on paper. Certainly, it's acceptable. Permission from above is granted for an already completed transfer in the spirit. Archangel Michael isn't just maintaining it. He is protecting it because the information before your name is important. You may have had the sensation that everything was taking too long at some point. Opportunities were almost within reach. The doors were closed, and calls went unanswered before being abruptly terminated. You posed questions to yourself. You were concerned about the accuracy of your understanding of God. However, you were unaware that the numbers you couldn't understand were being finalized in heaven. Changes were being made beneath the veil. Contracts were being examined in the unseen realm. Today is the day when the anticipated event is revealed. This is a fact that most people are unaware of. Heaven evaluates your response before releasing a significant event. The stress you felt this week was not due to chance. It was in the process of being ready. Breaking under pressure makes it impossible to manage overflow. If you remain steadfast, you have the potential to perform miracles. Archangel Michael, who protects the soul, ensures that your possessions are not misplaced, stolen, or redirected. However, he is unable to remove your doubts. If you exclude yourself out of uncertainty, the activation will take place later on. The spirit world expects your immediate agreement. Declare to yourself, "I am prepared," not with arrogance or fear, but with assurance, because the check has already been signed. It bears your name and is not purely financial. It includes the restoration of relationships. It refers to opportunities that arise on multiple occasions. It includes influence that goes beyond the people with whom you are currently associated. However, this emphasizes the necessity once more. The Treasury will close this window at 9 p.m. Do not make any errors. Despite the fact that God's love is eternal, some events happen at a faster pace. Occasionally, divine alignment occurs. When you relocate during that time, events move quickly. If you delay for too long, the next cycle may be delayed as well. This is also why you were disconnected today. Currently, many people are scrolling. Nevertheless, you stopped. This suggests that your spirit was aware of a concept that your mind was still learning. Archangel Michael is not something that happens by chance. He appears at the crossroads of breakthrough and conflict. You are located at that intersection. As this truth begins to sink in, I encourage you to write a statement to back it up. Type Amen in the comment section below, not as a standard response, but as a powerful statement that you are ready to receive the blessings that heaven has already prepared for you. As you write it, be aware that the spiritual realm is confirming your agreement. It is critical that you are given additional information. Your adversary attempted to persuade you that you are behind in life in terms of spirituality, finances, and comparison to others. That was a fabrication designed to discourage you from believing you were deserving of success. You're not trailing. You're currently being installed. When the blueprint is not visible, positioning appears to take longer. Everything becomes clear once the structure is completed. The check represents stability and structure, as well as an indefinite overflow. That being said, you must respond today. Engagement leads to alignment. Agreement speeds up the manifestation process. If your spirit is sending you this message, do not hesitate to respond. Your faith should influence how you speak. Indicate your level of agreement. Samuel, declare that you are prepared. When you type, tweet, or interact with a video, you aren't just watching it. You're setting an intention. Deliver this information to someone who is having difficulty. Subscribing to this channel will ensure that you are consistently in divine alignment. If you believe that heaven is doing something to help you, please like this message. Because of the widespread dissemination of this message, an increasing number of people will seize the opportunity before it disappears. Pay close attention. The subsequent events will reveal why the deadline was set at 9 p.m. instead of a minute later. The majority of people are unaware of the hidden logic underlying spiritual cycles and God's books. Please pay close attention, as the following information will provide a thorough explanation. Faithful soul at 9 p.m. Symbols have significance, and events do not occur on their own. It's a divine sign. Evenings are frequently a time of spiritual transformation. In the past, divine decisions were made at the tip of the day, where light meets shadow as one cycle ended and another began. Is that an edge for you at 9 p.m. tonight? Archangel Michael is shown standing at a gate, which is not a physical gate, but rather a threshold into the realm of the unseen. Everything that has contributed to the nature of your struggle is concentrated on one side. However, there is already healed compensation. The check for $1 trillion isn't just in your head. At that point, it is secure and awaits your explicit approval before the hour is adjusted. When people reach an agreement ahead of a deadline, it has a significant impact. It shows that you're prepared. That serves as proof of alignment. Heaven responds to strong faith expressed at the appropriate time. This is the reason you feel compelled to act quickly. You are not motivated by fear. You are propelled forward by a divine force. You've had periods of emotional exhaustion. Despite your limited resources, you offered assistance to others. Despite the discomfort, you gave up control. Quitting would have been easier for you. However, you remained committed. Contribute to the heavenly bank account in your name every time. There was no waste. There was no oversight. Everything was closely monitored by someone with a thorough understanding of it. Archangel Michael was also there. He watched as you fought a mental battle in solitude. He ensured your safety when unseen enemies attempted to stifle your growth. He recorded evidence of your strength in heaven when discouragement told you that your prayers were not being heard. The check in his possession is not a gift. It is correct. However, justice requires the participation of all people. If you withdraw now, you will be unable to align with the release. Take a step forward in faith, and you will be synchronized with the transfer. This is why the words you say tonight are significant. Discuss the abundance. Express your gratitude before receiving it. Declare the words of restoration before they are implemented. Your voice isn't deceptive. You're prepared. The time has come to pivot. For a specific reason, there were beliefs that something was about to rupture. Doors that appear to be closed are becoming increasingly fragile. Blockades that appear to last indefinitely are slowly disintegrating. The spiritual atmosphere around you is changing as a result of God's approval. However, be cautious. At this level, people can recognize blessings. Individuals in your vicinity may not understand the situation. So, some people may question your abrupt transformation. However, it is not the appropriate time to seek approval from others right now. It is now necessary to respond to heaven. When Archangel Michael is instructed, he acts immediately. He is unambiguous in his movements and expects you to imitate them. Avoid overthinking, injuring yourself, or dwelling on previous mistakes. Tonight's primary goal is to ensure clear alignment. The check indicates expansion, increase in influence, territory, and power. When you receive the item associated with your name, you will no longer consider yourself diminutive. You are insufficiently content with mere survival. Any additional funds will be your responsibility. And this is the more profound truth. This miracle is not intended just for you. It refers to the impact. As you ascend, so do those around you. The ability to reach a larger number of people is improved by the acquisition of additional resources. Your family gains a sense of security as your stability improves. Individuals who are open to receiving are the ones through whom heaven expands. The window does close at 9 p.m. due to the need to keep the cycles in order. Heaven operates within a framework. Appointments are precise. This is not mind reading. It's an exquisite rhythm. Seasonal fluctuations can affect release timing. Visualize Archangel Michael holding a check in your name for an amount more valuable than money. He does not feel anxious. He is confident in his abilities. He is internally anticipating your approval. Declare it openly in your heart. I agree to the course of action that God has determined for me. I am in accordance with God's timing. When I enter a chaotic environment, I do not feel fear. This does not indicate arrogance. Yes, it is obedience. As you agree, it is important to remember that acceleration occurs gradually. Changes occur during conversations. Opportunity arises. Assistance arrives unexpectedly. Things that appeared to be difficult were made easy. This is the mechanism through which transfer occurs in the natural world. Today will not be a day you remember as typical in your life. People will remember the moment you put your trust in God instead of questioning Him. Understand something sacred while this gate is open. Please keep in mind that each seed you plant in this quest will grow into a torch that shines light into another's darkness. Your activities contribute to a heavenly mission to save lost souls. Heaven progresses through the words of those who are willing, but it grows through the goodness of their souls. I'm currently addressing you in this method. Each gift you give is like a stream of living water that flows into the life of someone who needs healing. Give, and it will be given to you, is more than just a verse for Jesus. It is a living promise that will shape your future. I'd like to extend an invitation to you at this time through a simple act of trust. Approach this situation with a feeling of purpose, honesty, and hope. The amount you contribute today is not a donation. Your heavens are opened via the act of spiritual obedience. Relinquish your seed and witness what rewards God delivers into your life. He declares that I will pour back into you, pressed down and overflowing as you pour out. When you are compelled to act, your obedience is consistent with the treasure in heaven. When the ground has been prepared, do not hesitate to plant. Individuals who are truly committed to their beliefs will face unexpected opportunities. Begin participating in this prophetic moment immediately. Anointed listener, it appears that something has already happened as you expressed your agreement. Whether you can see it or not, the atmosphere around your name has changed. When your heart synchronized with the timing of heaven, a signal was transmitted. Archangel Michael did not sit back and do nothing. Movement was observed. In the spirit world, transactions happen at the speed of light. Changes that take years to manifest in the physical world can be implemented in a matter of seconds in the unseen realm. This is the reason why faith is so strong. It overcomes obvious obstacles and establishes a direct connection to divine power. Furthermore, issues cannot be resolved when power is transferred. Currently, conversations are being altered. Decisions are being modified. Paths that appeared to be closed at one point are now being reviewed. The check indicates that the funds were legally transferred, but the truth is revealed in layers. Priority is given to alignment, then spiritual enforcement, and finally, tangible evidence. You are situated between enforcement and evidence. This is the most important phase. Numerous people become disoriented in this location. They expect fireworks to occur immediately, and when they don't, they begin to have doubts. However, this is the most subdued part of the construction process. The foundation is being fortified to prevent the subsequent element from collapsing under its own weight. Archangel Michael ensures not only that your miracle occurs, but also that the location is stable. If the overflow reached a point of chaos, it would spread. If an abundance is introduced without a framework, it will escape. In this way, heaven prepares the vessel before pouring the oil into it. You are the vessel. Have you recently noticed an increase in clarity? Increasing one's ability to discern. You are no longer entertained by certain distractions. Certain relationships don't feel right. This distance was not determined at random. It's a work of divine perfection. You must carefully consider the position you are taking. The $1 trillion miracle check demonstrates size. However, size requires maturity. Heaven does not delegate significant responsibilities to people who are unprepared for them. If your name is recorded, it means that your preparation was reviewed and approved. However, there is one more matter that needs your attention tonight. Your cognitive processes. The adversary's final maneuver is deceptive. It won't be audible. It will manifest as peaceful thoughts, such as the possibility that this message isn't as bad as it seems, or that I should lower my expectations. The voice of limitation is attempting to reclaim the space it has eroded. Avoid that voice. Greed is not synonymous with expectation. The expectation derived from faith is consistent with God's promises. Remaining modest in the face of expectation shows your admiration for the person who gave the gift. The day is progressing hour by hour. As 9 o'clock approaches, the spiritual activity becomes more intense. This is similar to the final minutes before sunrise. Frequently, the darkest period of the day occurs just before the sun rises. If you notice a slight increase in resistance, you are on the verge of achieving your goal. Archangel Michael holds his position with unwavering authority. He remains stationary. He maintains his convictions. The items given to you will not be stolen. However, in order to reach an agreement, you must remain firm in your resolve. This miracle is more complicated than it seems. While it is important to obtain something, it is even more important to evolve into something else after acquiring it. Abundance alters one's identity by demonstrating it rather than defining it. When the pressure is removed, your true calling becomes clear. It was never intended for you to be in perpetual survival mode. It is difficult to distinguish due to survival. Overflow adds to its visibility. And heaven requires you to have a broader perspective because your responsibilities are greater than you realize. So, the check represents both release and commissioning. Responsibility grows in proportion to resources. As doors open, influence grows. This is not just a fortunate blessing. This is a strategic approach to granting people authority. Before you speak, some people may be aware of your transformation. They may feel a sense of assurance, tranquility, and certainty about their actions rather than confusion. The concept of alignment is expanding outward. Maintain your composure throughout this hour. Avoid engaging in pointless debates. Avoid locations that deplete your energy. Maintain your focus on yourself. Express your gratitude in advance. We thank God for the unseen work that has already been completed. This is the reality. Heaven does not participate in games. It prepares, then releases itself. Archangel Michael's assurance is not without merit. He is keeping payments that have been authorized. The final seals are being examined as the sun sets. There are no deficiencies, malfunctions, or tardiness. Now is the time for you to make a change. Draw a deep breath. Feel the weight of hope without fear. You're not pursuing anything delicate. You're getting a secure item. The events that follow will explain why you signed your signature before realizing you were eligible. Heart of Stone. Given the recent shift in mood, it is critical that you understand a specific concept. You were unable to sign the miracle check after praying for it. It was installed after you went through an experience that should have left you incapacitated. Before today's appearance on your calendar, Heaven has already recorded the duration of your life. You wept alone at night. You were strong on those days, despite feeling empty. When you choose honesty over more convenient options. All of those decisions were major ones. Those were memorable moments. Archangel Michael witnessed what happened. You thought you were just going through a difficult time, but there was actual documentation going on in the spirit. Proof of faith. Proof of loyalty and strength. And heaven does not ignore proof. It gets back to it. The $1 trillion miracle check represents a long-term reward. Not luck or chance, but spiritual credit accumulated over time. A sudden blessing and a planned release are not the same thing. What you are about to receive is ready. But there is more to it than that. Your name was not written in ink when you signed the check. It was written with agreement. A covenant is a promise supported by power. That which was agreed upon cannot be easily retracted. But belief is also required for covenant. If you do not take this moment seriously, it will lose its impact. If you don't pay attention, you won't realize how heavy it is. These days aren't dramatic just for fun. It's only for alignment. This date is significant because cycles are coming to a close behind you. You can't venture into new territory if you're stuck in your old identity. That's what tonight is all about. Change of identity. For too long, you've viewed yourself through the lens of what you can't do. You judged your potential based on the current situation. Your plans for the future are based on what has happened before. However, in heaven, you are known by your calling, not by your circumstances. Archangel Michael is not holding a gun to your doubts. He's keeping it for the future version of you. Can you feel the stress? It's about expanding your identity. The old mindset refused to let go, whereas the new mindset did. This internal transformation is required before external evidence can emerge. Because you have to be able to see the miracle as it occurs. If you continue to think in small terms, you risk missing out on a big opportunity. If you are still expecting to be disappointed, you may believe that the favor is simply a coincidence. Be cautious. There are already some of these signs. A completely unexpected message. An unexpected idea. Or a door that opens slightly. There will be additional tremors following this one. Heaven frequently speaks softly before it roars. As of 9 p.m. The spiritual atmosphere tightens, but not because people are afraid. They're focused. Archangel Michael is ensuring that there is no interference. This blessing will not be stolen. There will be no more delays than were necessary for planning. But you must agree. Take care with your thoughts tonight. If doubt arises, respond immediately with gratitude. If fear speaks, respond with faith. If you become impatient, take a deep breath and remember that God's timing is impeccable. This miracle is not coming to harm others. It is about to reposition you spiritually, emotionally, and financially. You'll soon be able to enter rooms where you previously felt unwelcome. You will start conversations in places where you were previously quiet. You will take risks that you previously avoided. A checkmark represents capacity, and having capacity implies courage. When expansion begins, do not pull back. Do not doubt your worth because others like you more. The same God who let you go through times of scarcity is now allowing you to go through times of abundance. And here's something not many people understand. Both hardship and overflow test one's character. Are you going to remain humble? Will you continue to be kind? Will you remain aligned? Archangel Michael is not only your guardian, but also a witness to your development, change, and the moment when you completely agree with what is being said. Tonight is not the time to try to get rich. It has to do with being restored. It is about regaining what has been lost due to delay. In other words, it's about living the life you were always meant to have. It's not like the treasury is closing to punish you. It is coming to an end to mark the change. When an hour passes, a new cycle begins. What you see in this window, on the other hand, accelerates what happens next. Avoid moving. Feel how heavy the objects that are moving are. It was signed because it was assumed that you were prepared. And what happens in the next few seconds will undoubtedly prove that this release has already occurred. Someone with courage. The hardest part is always the final few days before manifestation. Not because something is wrong, but because everything is going to plan. It's like pulling back a bow before releasing the arrow. The tension is needed for the distance. To be precise, you need the pressure. That holy tension is what you're feeling right now. Archangel Michael is still there. The fact is that he is more present than ever in your life. The check for $1 trillion is still safe. But now the spiritual atmosphere is full of completion. This part of the process is almost over. What's left is your firm position. At this point, there is a small test that is given. This test is for how consistent you are. Can you believe without seeing proof? Can you speak with confidence without anyone else confirming it? Can you stay in line even if the clock starts to tick faster? This is where a lot of people fail. At first they were brave, then they were excited, and finally they were hesitant. That shouldn't be your story. You've come too far to back down now that you're on the verge of making progress. At this very important moment, I need you to make a statement that solidifies your position. In the comment section type, "I will not retreat." Make a promise to God that you will stay strong until you reach your goal. When you type it, you're not just leaving a comment. You're also painting a line in the air that doubt can't cross. It's important to remember that today is the end of something. Everything you went through led to this turning point. But the end doesn't always look dramatic at first. It can look like calm certainty at times. At times it looks like a deep knowing that won't be shaken. That deep knowing is coming up in you right now. You can feel that this is bigger than feelings, hype, and your imagination. There is movement in the real world. Then there will be something measurable. The check is a sign. Yes, but you will be able to see the results. Also, be careful about this right now. Do not share your hopes with people who can't handle them. Not everyone can figure out divine timing. Spiritual alignment isn't respected by everyone. Like a seed planted in healthy soil. Guard this moment. Before they break through the ground, seeds grow in quiet places. Archangel Michael stands at the entrance to your next level like a guardian. His blessing is not the only thing he has. He is getting rid of interference. If some distractions go away all of a sudden, don't go after them. Should some people pull away, don't freak out. Not everything that goes away is a loss. Sometimes it's just extra space. Speaking thanks all the time gets easier as the time gets closer. Being grateful is agreeing ahead of time. Gratitude keeps faith strong. Being grateful keeps your heart in line with being humble. Pay close attention. Your answer right now is important for more than just this moment. When you speak out, declare, or take part, you anchor the shift. So if this message makes you stronger, show how your faith works. Like this message. Share it with an individual who is experiencing a sense of impending progress. Add a bold comment to your statement. To ensure that you consistently walk in divine alignment, it is recommended that you subscribe to this channel. Become a member if you are compelled to align yourself more closely with this mission. Engagement is not limited to online activities. It is participating in momentum. Additionally, contemplate a significant matter prior to departing at this time. This revelation was directed toward you due to your uniqueness. You are attuned to spiritual matters. You are aware when timing calls your name. Although a significant number of individuals may hear words, only a small number are capable of discerning when an object is activated. The activation is currently occurring. Archangel Michael is not in a hurry. However, the deadline is rapidly approaching. The atmosphere is replete with a sense of reverence. Attention, rather than anxiety or stress. Things undergo rapid transformation when heaven concentrates. You may experience oscillations between waves of tranquility and waves of excitement. That's logical. Your spirit is adapting to the process of expansion. Your soul's knowledge is now being comprehended by your mind. Avoid moving. At this juncture, alignment transitions into manifestation. The information you are about to receive will elucidate the reason why the Treasury does not retain this check indefinitely, but rather releases it at predetermined intervals that are unalterable. Pay close attention, as the subsequent events will substantiate all of your previous impressions. This check has not been present in the heavenly bank account for an extended period, my observant soul. The reason is not that there is no longer a heaven, rather the transfer is regulated by time. The divine cycles are exceedingly precise. Additionally, windows operate without hesitation. You ought to now comprehend something more thoroughly. Obedience, prayers, and faithfulness are stored in the treasury. Heaven maintains a record of all the sincere sacrifices that are rendered. However, release is contingent upon readiness. If a blessing is not claimed during its designated period, it remains in effect. It has been relocated to a different timeline. That is the reason why today is so significant. This is the point at which the preparation timeline and your timeline intersect. At a specific hour, years of endurance have culminated. Archangel Michael serves as evidence that you are mature enough to be released at this level. However, it is imperative that adults take action. The laws of the real world are the same as those of religion. The fall of objects is a consequence of gravity. Alignment attracts blessing toward agreement. When your thoughts, words, and expectations are in alignment with divine intention, it is inevitable that events progress more rapidly. This is the reason why subscriptions are more critical than you may realize. When you click the subscribe button, you are not merely keeping up with a channel. You are establishing a consistent pattern of prophetic alignment. It is as though a divine appointment is occurring each time a new video is released. The operation of heaven is facilitated by the repetition of truth and rhythm. You are informing the cycle by subscribing. I agree to maintain alignment. I will not stray. I desire for each prophetic word, activation, and shift to be delivered to me at the appropriate time. However, if you hesitate, the cycle will continue without you. Please ensure that this is not misunderstood. God's love remains with you, but opportunities come and go. Assignments undergo modifications. Windows are closed and new ones appear at a later time. Time is valuable, and it has an impact. You have been forced to endure an inordinate amount of time. The check is about more than just money. The goal is to reclaim the energy depleted by difficult times, accelerate progress that has been stalled, and make up for lost time. Heaven does not accumulate gradually when compensating for an imbalance. It causes substantial restoration. The presence of Archangel Michael in the area suggests that protected territory is under threat. This blessing is not insignificant. This expansion is marked by a shift in direction. Naturally, this is why interference intensified as the deadline approached. The closer you get to breaking through, the more resistance you'll encounter. Have you noticed how many distractions there are today that try to divert your attention? unexpected interruptions, minor irritations, and uncertainties that quietly infiltrate. These are the final attempts to dislodge you from alignment. Maintain equilibrium. Currently, the most potent state of mind is one of calm confidence. Neither anxious striving nor emotional excitement. Again, confidence and tranquility. You demonstrate readiness by standing confidently. Next, we'll get into a more serious topic. Being certain does not imply that one knows everything. It implies you have faith in the person who does. Archangel Michael does not disclose the entire plan. He ensures that previously agreed upon actions are taken. Agreeing is your responsibility. He is in charge of enforcement. As the night progresses, imagine the heavenly treasure chest as a vault of golden light. It keeps track of your unwavering commitment, prayers, and sacrifices. Due to the fullness of this account, a check in your name is extracted from the vault. Chund. Fullness indicates that all preparations have been completed. To complete the task, everyone must participate. This is not a request that heaven relocate. Heaven has already relocated. Going with the flow is the goal. Currently, the flow is robust. Clear thoughts, unexpected ideas, and a sense of urgency to make decisions may come in waves. This section illustrates the initial indications. Breakthroughs almost never happen on their own. Instead of thinking about anxiety, focus on thoughts that make you feel calm. And I truly understand this. It is possible that the miracle will not occur as expected. It could take the form of an opportunity rather than cash, a partnership rather than solitude, or a strategy rather than an abrupt deposit. However, its value will exceed expectations. Do not limit it with a small mindset. The term $1 trillion refers to an amount of money that is beyond comprehension. It represents something valuable that cannot be quantified. The world and heaven do not all agree on what enough means. As the world comes to an end, you will be evaluated by God. Avoid contracting. Have no doubt. We must not act as if this is a normal day. You were disconnected with a reason. You were placed in that position for a specific reason. You were ready for a reason. Archangel Michael is not the one who holds the check. For someone with more appropriate qualifications, he's retaining it for you because his endurance qualifies him. The cycle is nearing its end point. Maintain your commitment to the agreement. Maintain a steady attitude. You will also understand why your response in these final moments affects the rate at which information multiplies upon arrival in the subsequent revelation. The secret hidden within this moment is multiplication, shining soul. The item you're about to purchase will undergo a transformation. The $1 trillion check will not be issued in a single transaction. It starts a chain reaction. It's a seed that resembles money. Your response determines how it spreads after it appears. Archangel Michael is also in charge of overseeing the transition to stewardship as well as the release. Acquiring an item and managing it are two separate concepts. Many people are pleased with their arrival, but not with their expansion. This is because they were prepared for breakthroughs, but not for responsibilities. However, you have been shaped in places that are not widely known. Consider all of your experiences. Discipline acquired with insufficient resources. The knowledge gained through the act of making mistakes. Betrayal improved one's discernment ability. It was meticulously planned. Those experiences gave you the ability to handle a large amount of information without appearing arrogant. Humility facilitates growth. As the day comes to an end, the spiritual atmosphere becomes increasingly charged with a sense of accomplishment. The bank account is ready. The authorization includes a seal. Your signature is now valid. However, there is one more consideration: being observed by the heavens. Your position. Are you ready to handle an increased workload without losing your equilibrium? This is not a deceptive inquiry. It is an invitation for more in-depth reflection. Abundance strengthens what is already present in one's life. Gratitude is more common when it is present. Its presence encourages generosity. If the insecurity persists, it will become more severe. This is why this moment is so significant. It entails enhancing the interior of your home before expanding the exterior. Archangel Michael maintains his status as a symbol of fortitude without arrogance. This is the model you're using. Strength that stems from a purpose rather than one's ego. Authority is demonstrated by maintaining peace rather than exercising control. This check represents a huge opportunity, but it will be implemented gradually. Access is the first step, followed by growth and influence. I'd like you to reiterate your readiness as the expansion approaches. Please type the word Amen once more in the comments section. Increase the potency of this second Amen when compared to the first. Let it be the sound of your spirit cooperating with God's plan. As you write it, imagine your name being fully approved for the upcoming release. When you see it as a trophy rather than a prize, the trust you receive increases. There are people in your life who will benefit from your obedience tonight. Sharing becomes a priestly duty at this point. You are currently contemplating a person. A friend, family member, or coworker is someone who is either stuck, has been late, or needs confirmation that their window is still open. When you distribute this video, you aren't just sending another file. You are providing a lifeline. 9. It will also break through for them as the anointing does for you. Heaven honors those who shine a light on others. So, give it a moment. Select the Share button. Please forward it to the person who first came to mind. Send a text message. Raise it. Relief will be provided to family members, and communities will be affected. When seeds are planted, they may grow into forests that are never completely visible. Divine multiplication works in this way. However, the initial phase requires mutual consent. If doubt convinces you that you are undeserving of more, silence it immediately. The covenant established worthiness, not perfection. You were qualified because of your preparation. Your faith had a profound effect on you. In addition, there is a deeper truth. When you multiply, you become a channel, not a container. Channels facilitate positive outcomes. Items are temporarily stored in containers. Information continues to be transmitted via channels. Heaven prefers channels. As the deadline approaches, you will realize how important this assignment is. You are not simply claiming that you have the ability to perform miracles. You are accepting a responsibility that will have far-reaching consequences beyond your own personal well-being. This is why your name was included. In addition to receiving, you can also contribute. Type 1 in the comments to proceed to multiplication. If you identify with this, the blessing code 8282 has been applied to your life. As you enter this revelation, be aware that your response is now resonating beyond this screen. As you go through this awakening, remember that your assistance with this endeavor is not a hoax. It's a heavenly omen. Jesus claims that by giving water to others, you will receive it yourself. This isn't historical. It is an ongoing commitment to your future. Approach this situation with a strategy and faith. Giving can help you realize the potential that God has already built for your life. The treasury remains open, but the cycle is becoming more constrained. The subsequent events will reveal the final spiritual key, which will determine whether this multiplication occurs quickly or gradually over time. Remain steadfast, because the ultimate revelation will determine everything. A person who is awake. The final spiritual key is to not work. It's surrendering. Refrain from passive surrender. Abandon alignment, the type that retains self-assurance while giving up control. This type asserts that I am confident in the process because I believe in the person who created it. When surrender is used instead of strain, multiplication accelerates. You attempted to induce events after years of careful planning and mathematical calculations. In contrast, force does not change the current situation. It responds to release with faith. Sounds. Archangel Michael is not attempting to persuade heaven to grant you favor. The blessing had already been bestowed. Internal resistance is the only form of friction that remains. There is a subtle difference between anxiety and excitement. We anticipate positive developments. Anxiety is defined by concern about the loss of possessions. Your attitude matters more than you realize in the hours leading up to 9 o'clock at night. You are in sync with speed when you maintain a calm expectation. Your own reception is hampered by excessive worry and reflection. This is why the last step is to surrender. Surrender refers to the act of receiving without grasping. The statement is that I aligned without using force. It asserts that I am more confident in God's timing than in my own. It makes sense to multiply in that area. Look to Archangel Michael to remind you that strength does not equal strain. So, despite his formidable strength, he keeps a calm demeanor. That is the energy required at this time. They are not attempting to demonstrate preparedness, franticness, or desperation. Keeping a consistent pace. The trillion-dollar miracle check serves as a measure of the scale of events. However, stability must come before size. Giving up confidence brings about stability. Consider the numerous times you've attempted to change the past, the exhaustion it caused, and the unpredictable results. Consider instances in which you trusted and allowed events to unfold. Doors were more easily opened, and opportunities arose unexpectedly. You will continue to follow that pattern for an extended period of time. Today is not about one miracle. It refers to altering one's lifestyle, from contemplating scarcity to considering abundance, from a desire for trust and stewardship over the resources you have been given. Next, we'll get into a more serious topic. When you properly surrender, you do not become passive. The lack of fear makes you more resilient. You're reacting to a specific reason. The spiritual treasury is nearing the end of this cycle, and the atmosphere is almost silent, reminiscent of the silence before a declaration. It is holy to stay in that state. Do not take this as an indication of a delay. It provides confirmation that alignment has been achieved. You may have the sensation that a task has been completed. It is possible that your breathing will slow and your mind will become more concentrated. That entails abandoning the prospect of establishing a foundation. Archangel Michael is not in any hurry. He is assessing your calmness by observing your posture. Peace leads to rapid progress toward freedom. Also, ensure that you understand this. When you multiply objects, their appearance will change from what you expected. It may begin as a single strategic opportunity and grow into multiple opportunities. It could start with a simple conversation that helps a network run smoothly. It may appear to be a single concept that drives the creation of streams of provision. Do not belittle the humble beginnings. Each time you multiply, you start with a seed. The check indicates the seed's value, not its size. Even symbolic abundance can be transformed into genuine overflow if properly planted. Make an effort to avoid looking at the clock as 9 o'clock approaches. You're not at odds with time. Proof is yours. The moment is not passing. It is perfectly aligned. Immediately give up all possessions. Remove any remaining uncertainty. Dispel any suppressed anxiety about success. Abandon the notion that you must work for blessings. It is critical that you do not allow those outdated habits to persist as you age. You are adjusting to a new rhythm. In this rhythm, surrendering is a source of strength. The final revelation will permanently alter this moment by changing the way heaven responds to your agreement rather than just a fleeting sensation. Continue to hold on to your knowledge, as the events that follow will determine how courageous you are in confronting the predetermined circumstances. Heart of steel. The long-term transformation begins when you realize that this is not just a temporary, enjoyable experience, but a new way of life for you. The events of today are not meant to fade as the hours pass. It aims to change your perspective on provision, timing, and identity. Archangel Michael still exists, despite the fact that something has changed. There is no longer any tension surrounding the check. There is no certainty. The cycle of enforcement has ended. The authorization remains valid. Right now, the focus is on you. We are not testing you. Rather, we are encouraging your development. Because claiming a miracle without a shift in perspective results in a memory rather than a movement. Nobody prevented you from devoting a few minutes to finding inspiration today. You were told to align for the better. If you receive the $1 trillion miracle check, it shows that God believes in you. Heaven would not grant you magnitude if it suspected that you intended to abuse it. Therefore, be open with yourself. Who are you evolving into? This is not a question about what you did last year. This is not a reflection of your behavior during your most difficult period. What are you currently transitioning to? The level of courage with which you proceed after this moment is determined by your response to that inquiry. It is a powerful act to consciously advance spiritually. Many people undergo transformations without their knowledge. You, on the other hand, are actively seeking advancement. You're aware that something has changed. You are aware that surrender enables acceleration. You are aware that multiplication takes place prior to alignment. Being aware of this allows the change to last longer. The presence of Archangel Michael ensures the safety of the current situation, not only to protect resources, but also to preserve direction. It will be easier for you to make decisions. Tasks that once perplexed you will now appear simple. Initially difficult decisions will now appear straightforward. This is the result of receiving a strong foundation from heaven. However, be cautious. Because of the events that occurred, the world will work to restore its equilibrium. It will argue that the emotion was merely a feeling, or that nothing significant happened. Reject that narrative. Changes within an individual cause external evidence. The fact that something started without being observed does not make it imaginary. Be cautious about this change. Change the way you discuss your future. Do not expect identical results from your endeavors. Change your behavior in environments that previously frightened you. The miracle check represented something valuable. Your position is influenced by your value. Furthermore, if this message has been helpful to you, please do not keep it to yourself. By liking this video, you are declaring your intention to enter a state of permanent alignment. Share it with someone who needs confirmation that their period of anticipation is over. Say what you're claiming tonight with boldness. Subscribing to this channel will allow you to consistently navigate these divine transformations. Join if you feel compelled to become more involved in this mission and gain a better understanding of it. This is because your participation in the process reinforces your own and others' transformations. Furthermore, you must maintain a firm grip on another truth. The treasury was shut down at the appropriate time. However, the assets you protect remain operational. Your agreement remains unchanged. The device you activated expands. The thing you gave up becomes your new form of rhythm. We are no longer searching for miracles. The goal is to maintain the momentum. The momentum is initially weak. It needs to be maintained or cared for with faith. Avoid allowing negative circumstances to dominate. Avoid allowing comparisons to undermine its strength. Avoid allowing old habits to deplete it. Archangel Michael's role has shifted from overseeing releases to overseeing your development. Additionally, growth requires consistency. As the evening progresses, you will notice a transformation in yourself. A firm commitment, composed authority, and a resolute refusal to yield. That is a permanent shift toward stability. The following information will explain why this entire period was not solely focused on obtaining an object from heaven. It was also about setting a living example that would encourage others to participate during their own designated time. Don't let go, because the final revelation will definitively end everything that has begun. Maintain the flame. What you initiated is no longer a secret. The modification you made was never intended to be hidden. The day you were supposed to cross was today. But the goal of crossing is not to separate people. It has an impact. Archangel Michael did not simply oversee your miracle in order to relieve your distress. He protected it because your word is important in areas you have yet to visit. At this level of investment, heaven anticipates a multiplicative return. There are people who stay silent and observe your life. Others, including family and friends, have observed your diligence and loyalty. Even strangers have noticed that something is wrong with your demeanor. When your breakthrough becomes apparent, it will provide answers to the questions they had been hesitant to ask. This explains why the shift must continue. Temporary excitement cannot have a long-lasting effect. The only way to accomplish this is through root transformation. Furthermore, the transformation you experienced this evening was profound. The $1 trillion miracle check represented an intangible value. However, now that you have reached an agreement, you must maintain that value. Avoid discussing oneself in a way that suggests one is not important. Avoid restricting your capabilities. Avoid continuing to tell stories about your limitations. Your former self is not the same as your current self. When Archangel Michael is present, he acts as a truth warrior. Remember that your errors do not determine your identity. It is determined by God's decisions. Act as if you are in control every time you enter a room, because you are. Next, we'll get into a more serious topic. Minor confirmations will begin to appear over the next few days. Clear statements, not large, boisterous signs. A phone call that creates opportunity. An idea that becomes a plan. A connection that allows people to collaborate. These are not random events. They provide evidence. Don't disregard them. Heaven rarely makes any noise to alert people to its presence. Undoubtedly, it meets its own expectations. A treasury release is confirmed as genuine when a large number of factors coincide. However, power attracts attention. Your abrupt transformation may perplex some people. Some people may even question you because they are concerned about your confidence. Avoid absorbing that energy. Maintain your composure. Maintain your position on the ground. Stay grateful. When people disagreed with Archangel Michael, he avoided getting into arguments. He persists until the opposition surrenders. This is the model you're using. Your address will not contain excessive bravado. This will be constant over time. People will notice that you are acting differently if they see you being more composed in stressful situations, more confident in your decisions, or more assertive in your presence. When they ask about the methodology, you will respond based on practical experience rather than theoretical concepts. Today is going to be a watershed moment in your life, separating the past from the future. That date is significant, but not because of its significance. Following that, it is time for long-term alignment. You must now understand an additional level. The miracle was about more than just provision. Yes, it was satisfactory. Allowance to take a broader view. Authorization to demonstrate greater courage. Authorization to follow the vision without requiring an apology. Permission alters people's behavior. You do not hesitate when you are certain that you are permitted to do something. Please avoid providing too much information. You no longer wait for others to agree with your point of view. Archangel, keep in mind that Michael's position around you is derived from heaven, not from individuals. Doors that were initially difficult to open will become easier to open over time. Prepare for previously unthinkable conversations to become natural. Expect previously inaccessible opportunities to suddenly become available. However, do not act in haste. Walk with caution. Display responsible behavior. Remain in the appropriate location, as the final revelation will bring this journey to a close with a statement that turns your experience into a living altar. This sign will demonstrate the reality of divine timing, the possibility of multiplication through surrender, and the fact that heaven will not erase the writing on your name. Maintain your focus on the last few words. They will treat this change as a covenant, not a mere coincidence. The chosen vessel is now ready to be sealed. A confirmation from God rather than a dramatic ending. Today, there was never any concern about a deadline. It was intended to notify you of your authorization. The treasury, the check, and the importance of acting quickly were not intended to cause you anxiety. It was designed to establish you in your current position. You now understand the concept. Archangel Michael did not offer you a $1 trillion check to encourage you to become wealthy. He was present as proof of the divine will for your life. Money was not a factor. It was about your identity. It was about heaven informing us that this person is ready to move quickly, to grow, to make a difference, to be a steward, and to make a difference. Despite the passage of an hour, the position you took remains valid. The statements you made in faith were not credited to your bank account. It transforms into motion. Currently, the distinction is discernible. There's no sense of urgency or fear. There is only tranquility. The seal is in a constant state. You did not overlook it, despite the fact that it had ended. You started looking into it right away. It has ended for you. You formed a line. What you possess, Archangel Michael has transitioned from guardian of release to guardian of growth. It will be maintained as it grows. You will get crystal clear concepts. The connections will be in line with the objective. Provision will manifest in unexpected ways, but you will notice it right away thanks to the discernment training your spirit has received. This is not just hyperbole. Change is happening in this location. While today was not the most miraculous event, the check itself will live on in your memory. It was a transformation within you. The fear that previously held you back is no longer a factor. The uncertainty that once made you question your worth has vanished. You can now move forward without the uncertainty that previously hampered you. You are currently acting in a different manner. You communicate from your heart. You're satisfied with your decision. You are certain about the outcome. That is genuine wealth. The language of trillions of dollars represented infinite value. However, the true gift of heaven was the ability to perceive clearly. You no longer consider the issue of survival. You are considering the role of steward. You are no longer concerned with, will I have an adequate supply? Instead, you are interested in determining how far this can be expanded. The question has a significant impact on everything. Archangel Michael's presence confirms one final truth. When heaven inscribes your name on an object, it makes no change to its decision. It continues without hesitation. It is not taken without justification. I want you to do something that will allow heaven's favor to flow over you while you sit calmly and confidently. The like button should be clicked as a spiritual gesture, not just for goodwill. When you click the like button, you tell the heavens that you agree with the information presented. I agree with the modification that has occurred. With a single action, this video creates a flow of divine favor in your life. This demonstrates that you did not just observe, but also actively participated. However, there is one more task I would like you to complete. This video should be shared not only for the algorithm's benefit, but also because it is currently required by someone in your network. Someone close to you is about to surrender. They are about to scroll past the key that they discovered. Furthermore, the fact that you are currently in possession of this message shows that they have faith in your ability to convey it. When someone shares, they are transformed into a messenger that angels can recognize. By complying, you are broadening the scope of Archangel Michael. Finally, if you have not already done so, now is an excellent time to subscribe. The purpose of this channel is to help with prophetic alignment. Each video is intended to meet you at the exact point in your journey, to speak to your season, and to facilitate the transformations that God has already authorized. When you subscribe, you aren't just adding your name to a list. You are making appointments with God. You are communicating to God your desire for each release, activation, and prophetic word that comes from this ministry. Please ensure that you do not miss any additional videos. Do not allow another deadline to pass without being prepared. Currently, select the subscribe button. It is critical that it have official standing. Following that, press the bell to ensure that you don't miss the moment when heaven speaks directly to you. As you do this, you secure your position beneath the open sky. You were deceived into accepting the gift. Walking in a manner that is acceptable is now the norm. Keep this alignment in mind when dealing with problems. Seize opportunities as they arise. Fear will try to whisper once more. However, you should point out that your signature has already been accepted in heaven. Please listen carefully as this covenant comes to an end. You are on the verge of entering a fortunate future. Don't forget that this message doesn't end with your deeds. Users may use your invention to achieve their destinations. Jesus' words, "Give, and heaven will open over you," are not poetry. Every seed you sow grows into oil for your future, fire for your calling, and safety for your family. My sweetheart, the moment has come for you. Have faith, and you will see God multiply the possessions you relinquish. Before we wrap up this captivating story, I recommend that we take a moment to reflect on this deep reality. This message was not discovered coincidentally. This is not just a coincidence. This is Archangel Michael's direct message to you. He extends his hand and invites you to a high-vibration, safe community where divine abundance is not just a hope, but a promise. This spiritual idea is quite simple. Nonetheless, it has the capacity to transform your entire life. You will not just gain blessings if you follow it. They will multiply and permeate all aspects of your existence. Accepting this invitation grants you immediate, early access to potent content and heavenly insights that are now unavailable to the broader public. You now have the opportunity to enter a sacred area where you will receive unshakable support, spiritual guidance, and speedy progress towards your destiny. Do not miss out on this historic opportunity. Your triumph is near. Action is required. Your abundance is ready.